Hi, everybody, and welcome to my presentation, Finding My Fat Queer Voice, Experimenting with Designed Autoethnography to Gain Reflexive Contextual Expertise and Understand My Identity. My name is Brooke Hull, and my pronouns are they and them. I am a white, fat, queer, non-binary person, and I am currently a second-year Master's of Design student at the University of Florida. This project took place in the spring semester of 2022, my second semester at graduate school. So I want to start us here, where this project began. Before my spring 2022 semester, I stumbled upon this book at the library, Fat and Queer, an anthology of queer and trans bodies and lives, edited by Miguel M. Morales, T.J. Ferrantini, and Bruce Owen Grims. This book discusses lived experiences of fat and queer folks, something that empowered me to begin understanding and realizing expertise in my own lived experience as a fat and queer person. With fat and queer bodies in mind, my semester began, and I started by researching fat and queer theories and studies. These authors, Dina Amlin, Taylor Allison, Lori Cooper Stoll, Andrea E. Bombach, and Deborah McPhail were my main references that spring semester. They taught me a lot about fat language, fat phobia, and fat intersectionality. This research landed me on this question for the semester. How has fat phobia come to be so internalized within me, and how does this intersect with my queerness? With such an introspective question in mind, I turned toward a method that had already been introduced in my design courses, autoethnography. Authors Jilly Bolton, Julianne Scott Pollock, Sarah Wall, who I was unable to find a photo of, and Peter McIlveen were my main references for knowledges in autoethnographic methods. I focused on a reflexive approach to an autoethnography because I wanted to understand my cultural contextual position as a fat and queer person. I then looked at how to combine autoethnography with design, as encouraged by my professor, Dr. Dori Griffin. I found work from Maria Tiensevu and Maida Imicelli helpful when thinking of design's position in autoethnography. My final design idea came from the 100-Day Project, started by Michael Beirut, and the work done by his student, Zach Kluck. In their poster, Zach laid out typography in just 1 minute, which I found really amazing. All of these wonderful voices led to the blended methods I used in my project. More common autoethnographic methods blended with good project guidelines from the 100-Day Project website to help me end up with a doable design exploration. I completed my exploration in around 40 days, as a full 100-day project wasn't feasible in the semester I had left after my research process. Coming from the autoethnographic methods, each day I collected images and videos that inform my lived experience, both in positive and negative ways. I then wrote about my experiences as a fat queer person for 15 minutes each day. Next, from the 100-Day Project, I sketched for 5 minutes based on words and phrases from my writing, and then spent 10 minutes designing that phrase to communicate something visually in Adobe Illustrator. I chose Illustrator because of how it allows for the easy manipulation of type, but also to gain more skills with the software as I had used it the least often. And the results I had were really wonderful. I typed 11,947 words, I completed 190 sketches, and I designed 38 typographic experiments that are scrolling by on the right. And I'm going to give you a few seconds to look. I also compiled and categorized 330 images and videos into Notion. These were from each day that I did this project. Some of the biggest challenges I identified in this process were consistency in completing my type experiments, a struggle to experiment each day while also meeting class expectations of having some decent design work, and poor timing in how I categorized my daily images and videos, with difficulty handling the subject matter at times. Coming off these challenges, I identified some lessons I learned to help combat them. For consistency, I would ensure I was ready to take on at least 30 minutes of work per day before starting the project, and I would set my expectations according to what I'm capable of. I would have also dedicated more prep time to creating guidelines for the design experiments. Starting from scratch without much in mind meant I spent more time trying to focus on design fundamentals like color and type choice, and had less time to focus on visually saying something. For my timing, I would set aside time each week to categorize and reflect on the images and videos I had gathered so they would be more likely to inform my project, rather than grouping and figuring them out all at the end. And knowing my software inexperience, I would have been kinder to my work as I was learning new skills throughout this process. And finally, because I was dealing with subject matter that was at times harmful to myself and to my body, I tried to be very kind to myself and make space for my feelings. This would be a priority if I ever tried this project again. So to summarize this research process and to share it with you, here's a simplified mapping of the steps I followed that you could use in your own work or your own classroom. I would begin by researching a topic that matters to you. I would then review and select autoethnographic methods that fit into how you already work. For example, I enjoy writing, which is why I chose to journal. Next, I would combine that with a creative outlet like a daily design challenge, and I would ensure it's something that you actually enjoy doing. And so overall, the goal is to make the project doable and to enjoy the process. To conclude, I will touch on how this project has helped me move forward as a graduate student, designer, and researcher. This project helped me find my passion topic, fat intersectional identity, and recognize how my positionality interacts with that topic. I can now move beyond myself as an individual and recognize the systemic needs of other fat folks who are marginalized by the culture that we live in. And this understanding led to my first design exploration that I complete a couple times a week that's still ongoing. This is based on my love of illustration, my understanding of the connection to typography in the human body, and loosely related to the daily drop cap challenge. I illustrate a litter based on fat bodies to subvert traditional type canons that historically name type by referencing thin bodies. And finally, I just started working on a collaborative project this semester with Dr. Dory Griffin and my peer, Adrina, who goes by Dreezy Wynn, on expanding design education to create access for every body. And we're specifically focusing on design access at the University of Florida. My specific focus as a researcher is fat and queer intersectional bodies. So thank you again for watching my presentation, and I really appreciate the AIG Surface organizers for allowing me to present in this way due to my extenuating circumstances. You can contact me at b.hull@ufl.edu if you have any follow-up questions, and let's have a virtual coffee. Thank you again for watching.